Welcome to Dirt Diaries, the podcast where the women of agriculture get real. From muddy boots to boardrooms, we're digging into the unfiltered stories of the FarmHERs, ranchers, and every her shaping the future of ag. This isn't just shop talk, it's real talk. We're covering career paths, big wins, hard lessons, and everything in between. So whether you live it every day or you're just ag curious, pop in your earbuds and get ready. These are the raw, inspiring, and wildly relatable conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Let's dig in. Hi guys, well, welcome back to Dirt Diaries. I'm your host, Kirby Schnorr, and on today's episode, I'm so excited to introduce you to Dana DiPrima, an accidental farmer turned full-blown ag advocate who's now leading a nationwide movement to support small and mid-sized farms. Dana's story starts in New York City, takes a detour through a backyard chicken coop, and lands on a mission to uplift the farmers who feed our communities. And honestly, it's one of the most inspiring journeys I've come across. She's the founder of the For Farmers Movement, a grassroots initiative that's given out nearly 200 grants in 46 states. Dana and I talk about the importance of small farms in strengthening our food system, the power of connection, and what it really looks like to support agriculture from the ground up. We also get into yogurt obsessions, bees and donkeys, the chaos of farm life, and how a simple ask from her daughter sparked something so much bigger than she's ever expected. If you've ever wondered how you, as one person, can make a difference in agriculture, well, this one's for you. Let's get dirty with Dana. We are here on Dirt Diaries, and joining me is Dana. And Dana, I have to say this. I am so thankful that you're on this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel bad. I was trying to do my research before, didn't know you that well, and it's because our team here at Dirt Diaries, we've got some girl crushes on you. They're like, oh my God, you're going to love her. And so obviously we follow you on our social media platforms, those pages. And I think I went and personally followed you too, because I was like, oh, I'm never on our work one. So I got to get to know her. But then I was like, well, I'm going to sit down and talk to her anyway. So I'm going to get to know you today as well as our audiences. So again, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here. And, social media is one teeny little square and you have about 3 seconds to deliver a message. So It's always much more fun to have a chat.
It really, really is. Okay. So, as I'm getting to know you along with our viewers, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you came into the agriculture world, because you have a big platform on it. Like I said, social media, you have a podcast, you do a lot of wonderful things. So share with us your story.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to start at the back. Sometimes, I have this conversation and I start at the very beginning and it just feels like a lot. But I am leading a national movement to support small farmers. And really because I think that they are the solution to us having the healthiest food, stronger communities, healthier environment, and really vibrant regional economies, and all of that before we even get a chance to talk about how yummy the food is and how you get, all of the best taste from there. So, I feel like I'd never have like the best origin story, because everybody's like, now, how did you end up in this position? How did this happen? And I think back in 2010, my daughter was 9 years old and she's like, can we have some chickens? So we are city people.
Okay.
And we got a place upstate about 2.5 hours northwest of New York City. And that was the first thing that occurred to her. Is like, why would we not have chickens? It seems like the perfect place. So that's kind of where it all started. It led to an accidental farm. I spent basically every muscle of my body over Mother's Day weekend, mucking out my barn while my donkeys and goats and ducks and chickens watched.
Oh my gosh. So were you like born and raised in New York or in New York City or surrounding area?
I've lived here for a very long time.
Okay.
And I sort of split my time between here and the farm, but I grew up in North Carolina.
Okay.
And a lot of accidents have happened in my life that have really been amazing. I have this cute little accidental.
That's an optimistic way to say that too. People wouldn't typically say accidents have been amazing, but I like that.
Oh yeah, they have. I accidentally moved to New York City from North Carolina, so had no intention to live here. I accidentally met my husband while I was in a double date with someone else. Um, yeah. And,
That seems like a fun story. I like
oh
that.
gosh, that is a story for another day and maybe a
Okay.
cocktail.
Oh my God. Hey, we like that as well. I'll have to come meet up with you and we'll have a cocktail night. That's just that's so funny.
Yeah. And then, I have an accidental farm. There's, those chickens just turned into something a lot bigger. And I think when you have a city life and a country life and you have the opportunity to like just look at those things side by side, day by day, things are funny. I started writing about it. I've had some farmers in my life who find me amusing, I think, and want to see just how far I'll go. And so I think that, really started my love affair with farmers, just that great sense of humor and willingness to share a lot of knowledge and information. And I started a podcast a little different from the one that I have now back in 2019, where I was talking to farmers all the time about like, hey, tell me about your day. Like, what's your life like? I think it's a real privilege to have the opportunity to get a farmer off that tractor to like have a conversation and to
Yeah.
really, get down in the dirt. And I found that my listeners were really fascinated, and also finding that as non-farmers, they're like, wow, I have so much more in common with farmers than I thought. And, their days are fascinating, and I can't believe the kinds of things that they put up with. And I guess I felt in that whole scenario that talking to farmers that, gosh, you know what? More people need to understand the life of a farmer and to understand more about where their food comes from, because those carrots that show up in a bag at the grocery store, that is, there's a lot more to it, and there's a farmer behind that. And so I just felt like that was really important. And that really led to starting this movement in 2022. I had this big aha moment in I don't know, just like a weird epiphany. I wrote this big manifesto. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this happen. And so bird by bird, as they say, I've been working on this and trying to bring the people who eat a little bit closer to the people who make it possible.
Yeah. I always like to say that too. Like we're connected to the land and agriculture more so than people think, whether they grew up on a farm or grew up in the city. I mean, the clothes we wear, obviously the food we eat, like people are so closely connected to agriculture. And a lot of times, most of them don't know anything about that. And so having people like you, obviously, who advocate for the industry, but have a different perspective too, talk more about the movement, because I think that's pretty powerful and interesting. And I just recently learned about it. So yeah, share about the movement.
Okay. Well, one of the signature programs of the movement is providing grants to farmers. And we don't do it the usual way. We have a very special way that we do it that really involves the community. And it is so important to know a farmer and to know your farmer's name. And so when you find out who your favorite farmer is and you say, hey, I just want to know your name, you get to nominate them for a grant. And I think that's a very special process. Farmers hear that someone in their community, or maybe it's even their social media community,
Yeah.
that they understand what's going on, how hard they work, and hear how appreciated they are for the work that they're doing. And in a way, that's sort of step one for us with the grants, but it's also fine if that's the end of the road. If you don't want to apply for a grant, you have heard from your community something that you never hear.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And so then farmers are invited to apply. We have a panel of farmers and non-farmers who evaluate the applications, and we award grants. And we have awarded 190 grants in 46 states, and we are still going strong. We raise money $1 at a time. And I think that's another piece of the puzzle where, you know what? I would love to have 1 million people donate $1 each to the For Farmers movement so that we can give grants to as many farmers as possible. And I think what a farmer appreciates most about receiving a grant, whether it's $500 grant or $1,000 grant or more, is that they have that number of people behind them in the field with them, working to put together that new pig hut or that goat sonograms. You can see the health of those baby goats before they arrive on the ground. So they're
Yeah.
all different kinds of grants. Comes, whatever it is that the farmer knows they need most. We do not tell them that they need to change their farming practices. We do not tell them what they need to grow or not grow or how they're supposed to do it. Farmers know really well what they need, and they're really, really good at stretching a dollar. I
Yeah, they really are.
apologize for the size of the grants at the beginning. I apologize. Like, these are mini grants, people. Like, don't get your hopes up too high that this is going to, revolutionize your farm or your life. And I have stopped apologizing after round one. We gave 6 grants as an experiment in that first round. And I've stopped apologizing because I have heard from the farmers like, this, look what this did to my farm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a farmer in Ohio who got a grant to repair some gates and some electricity on her farm. And it bolstered her confidence so much that she felt seen and heard by her community and by the For Farmers movement, that she just went forward with so much confidence. She opened a farm store and she's supporting 60 farmers,
Oh,
exponential
that's
dollars for them
amazing.
in their community. So it's just really like incredible what can happen.
How challenging is it to get people to donate money or to raise money for things like this?
Well, sometimes I host a farm dinner with,
Yeah.
with the best food around. And that gets really good attendance. So that's, I mean, there are fun components, but yeah, sometimes it's challenging. A dollar, I mean, we can all do that, like in a
Yeah.
lick. Sometimes we do like donate the price of your coffee, or things like that. But yeah, it's more challenging than I would hope, but I feel like, we're getting there. Last year, no, in February, we had a People's Choice Award that was connected to sharing love with farmers, is another campaign that we have that's just really sharing appreciation. We have volunteers send postcards. They get a secret admirer note in their email inbox, and they get a care package from O'Keeffe's Hardworking Skincare, which is, awesome and super generous. They've been doing that since the very beginning. But we have a People's Choice Award. I feel like this is a sign that it's growing, but we had over 20,000 votes for farm projects that directed $8,000 to 8 different farmers.
Yeah.
So that to me is a sign that, this is growing and moving. Every year that we do nominations, we've got nominations from all 50 states. So people are paying attention across the country, everywhere. And, I just like to do my part to, bang the drum to make sure that more people can understand that this is easy. This helps you and your community. This helps your farmers feel seen
Yeah.
and heard and helps them continue. So I just feel very strongly that anything that that For Farmers has to offer, people can get involved in a really easy way.
Yeah. Talk more to that and just like um getting the word out there. Obviously, I know social media has made that I don't want to say easier, but talk about, what you face by getting the word out there for these farmers to be recognized or to get the grants to have them help, or just for the exposure of the industry and how, just what you said, your whole movement basically, but kind of walk us through those steps.
I call it 100 ways in. Because I feel like everybody's different, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you going to pay attention to me because, because you like my shirt? Or do you think my donkeys are cute? Or do you like how I make a fool of myself on on my farm? I have 17 gardens. Like, I'm one girl, like what's going to get your attention? Lately, I've been hitting statistics really hard. That seems to get, people's attention in a different way. I think small farmers don't have the time to put together those statistics and to talk about, like what's going on. Like, why are we wasting 40% of our food as a
Yeah.
country? Like,
Like,
why is that?
why are we?
Yeah, why are we?
I
Maybe we're over shopping. Maybe we bought too many carrots in that bag and we should have gone to the farmer's market and bought 4.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not conscious of, of the problems. Um, I shared something last week about like, what if your food budget at about $10,000 a year, let's call it, what if you just took $20 and you're not spending any more money, but that you just moved it to a small farmer? and you did it every week. Well, that puts more money into your community because those farmers are keeping more of the dollars locally. When you shop in a grocery store, it's only 15 cents on the dollar. When you shop with a local farmer, it's closer to 70 cents on the dollar. So why would you not want to do that? I think it's just a consciousness thing. And so it's hard to move the needle. And I think it's my responsibility to do it in every way I can. I have a weekly letter. I have a blog. I have a podcast. I have a local food challenge that's a monthly, like little challenge that's fun. I thought I was a local eater and I was doing a really good job shopping locally. I made a beef stew. I counted all the miles, 17,000 miles. Like if I'm doing that, so is everybody.
Yeah.
Let's do better. So let's make a fool of ourselves a little bit, look in our refrigerators and say like, okay, I have no idea where that milk came from in that carton, but I know that I can get milk locally. I can just do that just one item, so there's that. I have a 40 page, like, here's how to be really good at your farmer's market. If you're on a budget, if you're a pro, if you're a newbie, anything. So I think that people need to hear this from a lot of different ways. I think that the call to action has to be easy. It has to be fun. And, I'm always thinking about the consumer. Like, what are you worried about? Let's connect you with a farmer. And I have plenty of people, friends from in real life and from social media. They're like, I don't know a farmer. I'm like, that's easy. Let's find you one. Let's change your life.
Let's find you a farmer.
Find you a farmer.
Yeah, we'll find you a farmer. Have you always kind of had this tenacity about you from like a young age of wanting to help and wanting to connect people to things?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
could kind of see that, I guess. Like, even though you said you like didn't, you were a city girl, but obviously now you have the farming roots. But I don't know. I just feel like there's probably something like, what was it about you from a young age you think that propelled you to where you are today?
I'm not sure what it goes back to, but I did work in a big, corporate America. I had big corporate clients, and I had this one corporate client. It was the biggest one my company had ever landed, and it was just like a really cool project. And we were connecting them with the company itself with education broadly. And the head of marketing that I worked for in that company, she just looked at me one day and cocked her head and she's like, "You're a purist, aren't you?" It's like, yes. Like, I just want to make a difference. I want to make sure that, that we're doing something good. This is our big go round the earth. And, I just want to leave it all on the field, honestly.
I like that. Leave it all in the field. Do you think a little bit of COVID changed people's curiosity kind of on like our land, being stewards of the land, where their food comes from? And I'm sure people were talking about it before, but for me, I think there was a little more exposure. People wanted to be connected to like, the land and just what they were eating.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Heck yes. But I don't know. And this is going to sound weird, but COVID was a really exciting time for farmers. Farmers were being seen. They were considered essential workers in our nation, really for the first time. They had been invisible.
Which is crazy to think because like we have to eat. So it's crazy to think, right?
Crazy.
It's the first time they were being recognized.
Yes. I had farmers in tears on my podcast. Like, we have never been recognized like this. And maybe, just maybe, like, this is it. This is the turning point. This is the time where we're going to be valued. And they were, and people were scrambling for fresh eggs and for fresh meat and vegetables. And oh my gosh, they know their farmer. And then what happened? We have the shortest memory, and COVID fizzles. And so did that whole, line out the door. And that's just crazy town. It's absolutely insane that you could, as a human, as a member of your community, scramble for something that is the most important thing and then turn your back on it the next minute because what? You want your life to be a little bit more convenient, or, and we're such, with the age of the internet and email and texts and all the things, we're so busy. It's not more efficient. It's just more. We have so much going on, but you have to have priorities. And if your health and your community and your environment and your economy, the one right there in your neighborhood, in your city, in your state, in your town, whatever, if that's not important to you, I'd be surprised. I think it is. And I think we just have to connect the dots. That's the thing, is that little dot between the eater and their food and what it means, and, sort of what all of these incredible benefits are. I mean, I have people over to dinner. I am so proud to make dinner with local products. I feel like I'm honoring my guests in the most beautiful way, because I've picked out like the best cut of beef and the most fresh vegetables and, all those things.
Which I think is, I mean, again, everything has a story, and it goes back to that. And being able to sit around a table and eat with people and know that you're providing a story just basically from the food that you're serving is kind of crazy to think about too. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to get to know you a little more personally, especially, I mean, because this is our first time meeting. So let's just break the ice and talk about you as a person. So I'm going to have some interesting questions, some normal ones that you're used to getting, but we'll just kick it off. What is your weirdest habit that you have?
I don't even know. Let's think.
I know this one I stumped another person that I was talking to, and I was like, "Are you saying you don't have any weird habits?" Because I commend that. I was like, but it's kind of a funny thing to think about.
I kind of want to think I have a weird habit.
But it might not be weird to you, and others might think it's weird, I guess.
I'm trying to think of just habits in general. I'm obsessed with my yogurt. I think I've had yogurt and it is from a local farm, that I think it's like built my obsession. For the past like 90 days, I've had yogurt every day for breakfast. That's sad.
Oh, that's just consistent.
I don't know. I like to work out. So, get outside. I love to be outside as much as possible. Weird habits. You know what? I have 2 kids. We should call them.
Yeah, they would give the Dirt Diaries the dirt on your weird habits. I bet they would. Okay, well, do you have a guilty pleasure then?
Yes.
Well, obviously it's the yogurt right now.
Well, no, I don't feel guilty about that. But,
oh, good.
Those like pull and peel cherry Twizzlers?
Yes.
I mean,
you love those?
It's like a weird combination of like the flavor of medicine and plastic.
I was going to say they're disgusting, but I was going to be very nice because we just met.
Convince you. I love them. They're really good in the car, or if you're having a bad day. They really are fantastic.
They just do the trick. Okay, what about a favorite condiment to use that you use in excess? Whether you are, I don't know, put ranch on your broccoli. I don't know, but just do you have a condiment? I know that sounds terrible. I don't do that, by the way. But do you have a condiment that you just use in excess?
Condiment I use. I mean, we're mustard forward around here.
Okay.
I like mustard in my salad dressing. On my sausage. I'm making sausage. That's a popular condiment, but a new one that I'm really obsessed with is this. It's a small jar of chili oil with like chili flakes in it. It's kind of crunchy. It's good on everything.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I saw something like that at Trader Joe's once. I haven't tried it though, but
I feel like it's kind of like trending in the marketplace. It's a it's a little spicy, but not too spicy.
And it's good on everything. Good to know. Okay. Do you have a hidden talent?
No. I'm really decent at a lot of things, but I'm not really like I'm not a sports star. My daughter's an excellent singer.
Oh, that's nice.
I can like carry a tune just fine with the radio, but other than that, you don't want to hear from me.
I get that. I'm not a singer, and I would love to participate in karaoke.
Me
and
too.
Let me tell you, if I'm doing karaoke, nobody wants to listen to that.
No, I'm too embarrassed.
Ugh, gosh, I get that. I'm not really on the embarrassed part, just embarrassed the fact that I don't have a voice, but I like music. So, that's one of those things. Okay, what this seems kind of negative, but I don't mean it negative. What's the least favorite part of your day sometimes?
Walking the dog.
How come?
Well, I love the dog, but he does not want to go. He's 16.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, wake him up. I carry him outside. Everybody wants to know if something's wrong with him because I'm carrying him.
But that's also why he's lived to be 16, probably. It's because
Can
you're great.
always carry him. It's a good thing he's little. No,
That is good.
I feel like I need to apologize to him now. He's really he's a total sweetheart. But I do run like a very exclusive daycare for one geriatric dog. So whatever he wants.
He gets. Hey, our dogs are family members. I know that. If you could participate in one reality TV series, what would that be?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. The Bachelor. It's the only one I know.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I was thinking there's Survivor. You seem fit and stuff. There's Survivor. You obviously could live off the land. There's Amazing Race. You probably could survive on Amazing Race as well.
No,
but I like it. You went with The Bachelor.
I'm going with The Bachelor. All the cat fights in the house and like who's doing who dirty and
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. My husband probably wouldn't like that, but I'm just saying it's really it's the only one I watch.
I think that's great. If you had a sandwich named after you, what would it be called and what would be on it?
God, these are hard.
I know. The Dirt Diaries team put them together, and I was like, wow.
I need to talk to these ladies. This is rough. All right. Well, this weekend I'm in the Northeast, so I went foraging for ramps.
What? I don't know what that is.
A ramp is a wild leek.
Oh.
Yeah. It looks kind of like a scallion, but with a leaf.
Okay.
And you can't really cultivate them. You have to find them in the woods. So you can, we used the leaves and the bulbs. I made a really good soup with it. I got the recipe from my electrician after many years of begging. It's a very exclusive spring tonic. It's really good. But the leaves you can make into pesto. So I would put that on my sandwich. And it would be a farm girl ramp pesto sandwich.
I like that. What's a really distinct moment of pride that you have? Just something that over the years, whether it's personal or professional, what's something you're really, really proud of?
Well, I want to say this. I feel like I've done a lot of things. I've had a lot of careers. I really have. I worked for the federal government. I worked in nonprofits. I worked for big companies. I worked in volunteer, like sort of community organizing, grassroots on the ground organizations. And every time I go to a party and meet someone new, they would say, "What do you do?" And I would just want to like back out of the room. I just like, I was like, I can't explain it in a way that's going to feel valuable to me. It's going to sound like something else to you. And I just don't want to tell you. But now when I go to a party, I'm so proud to tell people that I support small American farmers. I'm so proud of the work that we're doing. I see the impact. It actually, it can bring me to tears. Just the stories of, the really heartfelt stories of the folks who are, making a difference for their communities and their families and growing great food.
Yeah.
And just how a little bit of help goes such a long way. I'm so proud of everything. And I just really feel like, I try to tell the stories, but if you could see it, just on one farm, one farmer, I have, farmers, men and women, write to me and send me messages just, in tears over how good they feel being supported by this movement, by this bigger community. And they're like, we don't even understand why you do this, but we're just like, they're so
grateful. I know that. I mean, why do you do this? I mean, I know you've said it, but you obviously feel such a drive and a compassion in you to really make these farms, successful, and seen and heard and known and valued. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, why do you do it?
Well, I think that small farms are undervalued. I think that they're invisible. And I think there's a point for everyone out there where they felt that way.
Yeah.
Where, you work really hard, you're a really great mom or dad, you volunteer in your community, you take care of your parents, and there's a lot of invisibility in the human condition. And I think, even with social media, we're all connected, but are we,
Yeah.
are we really? And I think that it's that invisibility component that I guess I identify with, with farmers to know that you can, spend your whole life doing important things, anywhere from getting dinner on the table to, revolutionizing X or Y, whatever it is. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just recognize that I have, a sensitive heart for how, they're doing what they're doing. And I interviewed Joel Salatin a couple of times actually, and he said, all farmers aren't created equal. He goes, so don't feel bad about saying that they're not, some that these small don't feel bad that these small farmers are doing it better than big ag. And I don't want to get up in big ag's business, but I really do think that they can use small farmers as a benchmark for innovation,
Mm-hmm.
for how to do things differently. Now, I recognize that you can't, the scale isn't the same, but it is a community of farmers. It's a big one. And I worry that our, that our society, that, we really value the dollar so much more than we do the quality. And I've talked to big farmers who wish they could get off the treadmill and do it the way they want to do it instead of the way that's going to make the most money for their, their big dairy or, their carrot farm or whatever it is. And so,
Yeah.
I have heart for that. And I feel like, I don't know, big ag has a marketing budget and small ag has me and some other folks. So I just want to make sure that small farmers are being represented and that consumers are connecting with them.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And again, your work is hard, but it's being noticed. And I just think that we need more people like you to support the farmer and to advocate for them, because if you're not doing it, sometimes it's hard to advocate for yourself, as we all know. So when there's someone else advocating for you, that is a game changer.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Okay, I'm gonna move on, ask you some more questions. Just some rapid fire, one bite, quick questions.
Oh gosh.
Because we're talking about food. But what's one ingredient you'll never buy at the grocery store again?
Never buy it. Well, I only buy my meat from small farmers pretty directly. So meat.
Yeah. And that also became huge, not to bring up coveting, but like the direct to beef, that was a big change for the industry, I feel like, which was kind of really neat to see for smaller beef producers.
We used to have butchers in our grocery stores who were like
Yeah.
neighborhood people who were like, oh yeah, this is Farmer Bob's beef. We don't have that anymore. So the transparency is not there for me. And I want to make sure I'm feeding my family something that I know how it was raised and what's in it and all of those things.
Yeah, I like that. What's your favorite farm fresh snack?
Oh gosh, don't get me started on that yogurt.
The yogurt.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you like put granola with it?
Oh yeah.
Berries?
Nuts.
Okay, you
Yeah,
do it all.
anything.
Honey?
Honey. Yeah, I have bees, so my
Oh,
honey. But
nice.
yes, that
I like
yogurt
that.
is from Tonja's Dairy Farm in Callicoon, New York, and it is ridiculous.
I like that. Is it like sweet? Is sweeter? Is it what makes it
No,
different, you think?
no, you get to do whatever you want to it. So it's that kind of tangier yogurt and it's perfectly creamy. And
Mm.
now anytime I see anything they make, I use their cream in my ramp soup this week. I buy their milk. I buy their buttermilk. I use in salad dressings, a little mustard and some other things. But yeah.
Wow, I love that. Um, you mentioned your gardens that you have, all the several gardens you have. What's one crop you still can't grow right or that you're not happy with?
Well, I have a different fail every year.
Hey,
Last year,
that makes us better, right? Failures make us
yeah,
better.
I fail something big every year. I'm usually not good at spinach. I think I need to get it in the ground a little earlier. And by the time I'm ready and the frost is finished, it's like I miss out on spinach. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I think I'd have to fill my entire garden with spinach because you know what happens when you saute spinach? It just shrinks to
It's
it's just
nothing.
gone. So I don't think even with my garden, my vegetable garden's about the size of a tennis court. So I think I'd have to fill the whole thing with that.
That's a big vegetable garden. Good for you. And
Yeah.
I agree with spinach. I think Popeye lied. I don't know how he was eating all that spinach. I'm like, where did
No,
he get all that?
a farmer.
Yeah, exactly. A farmer. Most surprising thing that you have learned from a farmer.
Oh my gosh, so many things. But when I got those first chickens, right, he came over, sweetheart that he is, and he popped them into my coop. I think we had gone to the store. And we didn't realize he had come. And it looked a little bit like a dollhouse with a church steeple kind of thing. And it had a lid that you could open, peek inside. And my daughter's like, I'm going to go check and see if he came. I was like, I'm pretty sure he didn't come. He's like, I'm going to go check. I'm like, okay, you go check. So she goes to check, and one of the chickens flies out.
Nope, I'd be out.
Okay,
That'd scare me.
the chicken flies out, and I am literally freaking my ever loving, you know what? And I'm like, oh my God, the chicken. And the chicken, I'm running after the chicken. The chicken goes into the bushes. It goes into a shed. It comes out. I can't get it. I call Farmer Mark. I'm like, Mark. And he's so nice. And he listens to my whole story. And he, And I think he's going to like tell me like the secret. He's like, Dana, find your inner predator. And he hangs up.
He's like, go get that chicken yourself.
Yeah, you just go get that chicken is basically just sack up, girl. So I went in the house. I swear this is a true story. I went in the house and I got my fireplace gloves, those big like leather suede like fireplace gloves. And I had boots on up to my knees and I went like the chicken is going to kill me, and I go into the bushes and I got the chicken and I put her back in, never look back.
Oh, you're way more brave than I am. I am on FarmHER filming. I've always hated chickens since a child. They attacked me one time in a barn. And anyways, it's a long story. I grew up on a farm, but our neighbor, anyways, they had chickens up where we were keeping some of my pigs and cattle and all these things. And I'll just never get over it. And on this coming up season, there's somewhere we went and visited, and she would not take no for an answer of me not getting even near him and hold him or anything. But I didn't hold one. I petted it, but still, I'm grateful for chicken farmers. I'm proud of you because I could not. I'd be like, that chicken's long gone. I don't care where it goes or what happens to it.
Oh my gosh. You could not disappoint that 9-year-old cutie pie. I'm telling you.
That I bet. Yeah.
I had to get that chicken back in the coop.
You had to do it. Okay. So if the For Farmers movement were a meal, what would it be?
A meal?
Yeah. A meal.
Oh, wow. The For Farmers movement was a meal. Well, it would have at least 5 courses. That's for sure. It would have everything. It would be the most delicious, and it would come from all over the country. So I think it would be, pretty diverse in terms of the ingredients.
I think that's right. Okay. Now we're going to have some myth busting questions, and then I know we'll be wrapping up soon. But quickly, true or false, anyone can be a farmer with enough passion?
True, and a little bit of money.
Yeah. I was like, there actually is no wrong answer to this. I would think.
I think the passion is the number one thing that I know about small farmers, because most of them, more than 80% of small farmers, are pulling negative money.
Yeah.
So,
you definitely have to have passion, right?
You can't do that without passion, and they're all working a second job that's, really a 9 to 5. So, passion's the key ingredient.
True or false, if you live in the city, you're disconnected from your food?
Only if you put your head in the sand. So no, you don't have to be. And I think, across the country, this is a beautiful thing. Farmers come to you.
They do.
And in rural communities, sometimes it's harder to find farm fresh food because the farmers are, taking it and going where the money is in the bigger cities. So, there's a real conundrum there for rural America. Well, I'm in farmland, but I can barely get my hands on any of the, any of the goods here. And when you go to a city all across the country, I mean, we've got incredible farmers markets, and I've got a 40-page guide to help you, tap into that, into that majesty.
Yeah. And that's on your website, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure is.
I like that. True or false, small farms are dying out and there's nothing we can do.
Small farms are dying out.
Wow.
We're doing everything we can. I mean, I think at this point, I'm putting a finger in the dam, but we lost 141,000 farms between 2017 and 2023 and 20 million acres of farmland.
Wow.
So, you want to put that up against my 190 grants. I don't know that that's really, that's not super optimistic. I'm still optimistic about it. I think we can make a difference. But it's urgent. It's absolutely urgent.
Yeah. Well, now off of all of this, obviously Dirt Diaries, here we are. And like I said, thank you so much for joining me today. But when we were talking about doing this show and having it as a podcast, and it will be on rural radio as well. And so people are listening all over. So whether they're driving around in their truck out in rural America, or, they come across this and they see it in an airport and they're going to a city, Chicago, you name it. But something I think we can all relate at some point. We've either written in a diary, we've know somebody who has, we've read someone's diary, or we've wanted to, that's for sure. But when you think about writing something in a diary, back in the day that you would want your future self or yourself today to read, what would it say? What would that be?
I mean, I think it's so important to, follow your passion, but also, you can totally do that, but it's hard, right? So it's always like nobody's watching, you're not making any progress, you go backwards, you have a fail. I think it's really important to be consistent. I know that's maybe that's like a cliche these days, but I found that it really works.
Yeah.
I started with a 6-grant experiment and a personal manifesto, and all my friends were rolling their eyes. They're like, "What are you doing?" But we're still going, and we're making a real difference, not just in 6 farms, but in farms across the country. And it's not just for the year where they got the grant, because it really affects them going forward. So I just think, whatever it is that, that you want to do, take a stab at it, do it, but don't give up because nobody's listening, because eventually they will.
I love that. Well, again, so for anybody listening or watching, where can they follow you on social media? What's your website? How can they learn a little bit more and hopefully even give $1? Because like you said, $1 goes a long ways.
Thank you. Well, on Instagram, I am XOXO Farm Girl, and you can find everything about For Farmers Movement at forfarmersmovement.com, including the podcast, which is embedded there. It's called One Bite is Everything. Yeah, it's all pretty much in one place. And usually there's a program that we're highlighting that's seasonal, whether it's Love for Farmers in February or the grants program that comes up in the fall.
I like that. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, Dana, for joining us. You have fulfilled our Girl Crush dreams here at Dirt Diaries with our team, because they said all we could do is reach out, slide into those DMs. And who knew, if you were going to be on a reality show, it'd be The Bachelor. Like you said, your husband wouldn't like it, but I mean, that might be fun to watch you on that.
It'd be fun. I think I might win.
I think you could definitely win. Oh my gosh. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And just sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your passion for doing what you do.
Thank you. And thanks for asking all those questions. I feel like I'll be DMing you when I figure out what my weird habit is.
Well, perfect. Please slide back into our DMs. We appreciate that. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Dirt Diaries. Thank you again for joining us. That's it for today's episode of Dirt Diaries, where the women of ag leave no story untold. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone else. Until next time, keep showing up, speaking out, and getting your hands dirty.